All right. We have breaking news on the political front as well. Now, we just took a look at Trump and Mamdani's fantastic meeting. I love this meeting so much. One second applause. And now we have an announcement from Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Wicked Witch of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been a House member serving a district in Georgia, I believe since 2020, maybe since 2016. And she worked her way into office really through conspiracy theories, bootlicking, ball tickling, and lying, basically. She's been my least favorite member of Congress for a very long time, or at least one of my least favorite. There's so many on both sides of the aisle that I just feel about. So she has a breaking announcement here, and she has now stated that she is resigning from Congress on January 5th, 2026. And this is a big deal. One, again, she has been under fire in recent weeks, particularly from the Trump administration, who was threatening to put millions of dollars into her primary opponent, since she has, I guess, veered from the messaging by supporting the release of the Epstein files. She's also been doing a recent media blitz where she has been talking about how healthcare is more important, and she has been holding Red Team members accountable. Last week, she was on CNN saying that we need to have some sort of normalcy and respect in our dialogue when we talk about each other. And she apologized for a lot of things that she said in the past, which is crazy. And so it looks like her view on her political prospects, her window into what she's able to achieve, has now closed, and she's stepping away. And so here is her speech. Let's take a look at it.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect
That's true.
whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher.
Well, we got healthcare and cameras on cops from the Obama administration, which is the only thing I can think of in my lifetime that has been passed at a federal level that helped regular people. Now, I think the healthcare platform, the exchanges, have a number of problems with it. I think Medicare for all from the beginning was the way to go. But I think anything that the blue team tried to pass was going to be, was going to be blocked by the red team at some point in time. It's going to be villainized to the American people. But at least that got across the aisle to where that now it could still be a prominent conversation each election cycle. But I'm not all the way disagreeing with the MTG when she says that it's the same thing for most people. She's right about that.
Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard.
She is completely washing off her reputation. I mean, she's factually correct in terms of what she supported, but she has been evil. Like, she is one of the most evil members of Congress who was so comfortable in her evilness that she also was one of the loudest at the same time. And so this is part of what the shift she's been making over the past few weeks, as she's trying to wash off her resume, trying to figure out where her political future might lead or what she might do after she leaves office. So forgive me if I'm a little taken aback by MTG, Miss Three Toes herself.
For that. I fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time. And we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas, just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years, they actually do their own grocery shopping and no food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa-holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing.
I think she was spitting right there. I mean, that was a pretty sober assessment of what at least I run into when I talk to my friends and family, when I talk to the people that I work with in the community and when I'm volunteering or when I'm doing different things around Los Angeles. It's just a lot of the same sentiment that I see in the comment section. Could have been like this the whole time.
Patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland.
Which is so funny because when Biden was passing the CHIPS Act, the Science Act, all of those acts that he was passing in the shadow of COVID, when inflation was the highest ever and we had the supply chain backlog, all these bills provided on the ground, they funded on the ground shovel-ready projects in all these red districts. And all of the red team members voted against them. Now they had the minority, so the bills passed. And when those bills passed, all the red team members started sending emails and campaigning on the fact that they were able to bring these resources to their communities. That's part of the farce. That's part of the gamesmanship that we see. That's part of political maneuvering. Nobody on the red team is allowed to support anything that's happening on the blue team. And when the blue team has enough votes to pass stuff, they pass it on their own. And a lot of the most of the stuff that came out of the CHIPS Act, we'll say, was going to help red team districts the most. The most. She didn't say that. She didn't say, and she was a culprit of that as well. She didn't remind people that, yeah, I voted against everything that Biden wanted to do, but when they actually passed, I sent an email saying, hey, look what I did. That's so...
Tomato. After watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the...
She's bragging about defunding PBS? Is that what she said? She's bragging about defunding Sesame Street so we can get PragerU?
Tomato.
Making cartoons about why slavery was good for black people?
Tomato.
This is what she's bragging about. I know it's going to work with her base. She was cooking in that little section, but this is that Confederate stuff that I talk about. When I say it's not red team or blue team, to me, this is us versus the Confederates. This is me against things like Project 2025, think tanks like Heritage Foundation, these organizations that want to remove all rights from the citizens of this country, particularly black people. We just saw an announcement that the Board of Education will be closed in the coming months. They've now stripped away nursing and therapy as jobs They're no longer considered jobs under the Board of Education. Well, those are jobs that mainly go to women, right? There's a mass movement to control individual rights of citizens that's largely coming from Project 2025 and has always been more present when it comes to policies promoted by the Confederacy. That's what the Confederacy likes, okay? And now she is bragging about these things.
Tomato.
Works for her base, but she lost me. Let's see where she goes.
District needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee.
That didn't go well either. Getting rid of USAID has now caused 500,000 people to die since the beginning of this year.
Tomato.
I have fought harder.
I mean, I'm actually happy she's retiring. This all sounds good to me. I don't know who the next person is going to be. The next person is probably going to be another red team member from her district, and they're probably going to be even worse. They'll probably be like, yeah, first thing we need to do, get rid of this Epstein stuff. You never know.
Than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting
That's the one that cost her.
record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
Well, why would they call you a traitor? Are you going to expound on that? I bet you don't expound on that. I wonder why she thinks that they're calling her a traitor for standing with the victims of this Epstein fiasco. I wonder why. Let's see if she tells us.
However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled.
She didn't tell us.
Filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all. And
All right, so there's that. MTG says she's retiring. 1 second applause. Tried to go out with her own little Eisenhower moment, calling out the military-industrial complex and all the big, scary albatrosses that are keeping all of us away from having better health care. Right. I don't think she's wrong about that stuff. I think there's a lot of, I don't want to call it revisionist history to her record, even though that Biden part really is kind of like that more than anything else. But what I do think that this speaks to is that here is a woman who voted herself off the island and is not playing anymore. I'm not sure if we're going to see more of this. I'm not sure if this is going to be a pattern by any means, but let's take a look at some of the reactions that people are having here to the news that MTG is resigning. Here's AIPAC tracker. Marjorie Taylor Greene announces she will be resigning from Congress January 5th, 2026. She did not take money from AIPAC. 1 second applause. I'm going to miss Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh my God, Canada hates Trump. Look at that. Looking like the Hulkster. 1 second applause. Keith Olbermann, I swear to God, Marjorie Taylor Greene continues to sound exactly like somebody who gave up steroids about 7 weeks ago. That's crazy. Well, she said a lot of mean stuff too, so I guess that's deserved. Here's Russell Drew. Marjorie Taylor Greene is like the arsonist who sets the entire city ablaze and then runs away because she can't stand the heat. Let this be a warning to anybody who tries to cozy up to Donald Trump. It never ends well. This is how she used to be in Congress, by the way. She was always yelling and screaming and interrupting people. Charlotte Clymer says, I don't pretend to know exactly what's going on with MTG's resignation, but I sure as shit know she's not getting the full story. None of this makes sense, right? So there's a speculation here that maybe there's more going on behind the scenes than we realize. And then Aaron Rupert right here says, Trump feuding with MTG, but being in love with Zoran Mamdani was not on my November 2025 bingo card. Wasn't on mine either. So this is a big shakeup in Congress. An update, a very prominent member of Congress has decided to resign. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Are you affected by this at all? Are you in her district by chance? If you are, let me know what you think about this as well. My name is Justin Hunte. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow at The Company Man on everything, including The Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all happening.
The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping in. Systematical culture views us radical. It's all happening. Shaking hands and dabbing them. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog. You don't stop. You don't stop. Justin Hunte is here. It's all happening. It's all happening. Yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here. It's all happening. It's all happening. Yes, it's all happening.